right, so these are my Vego garden beds. They're my largest bed. They're 8 by 4 by 32. I filled them up the same way that I fill up my pallet beds, with wood chips and layers of manure and cardboard, and then we put a couple inches of potting soil that I mixed up on the top. These ones took a little bit longer to really take off. The reason for that is with my pallet beds, I'm adding in food scraps and compost and rabbit manure and things like that on the top all the time for months before I plant them. With these guys, I put them together in a couple days. There was minimal food scraps and they didn't heat up the same way that my pallet garden does. So this bed has done better than those two. So what that tells me is the food waste, the variety of scraps that you add in is really crucial to give good bacteria a run for their money in the beds. I planted a lot of things in these beds that I don't usually plant, like flowers. These petunias turned out amazing. They're gorgeous. In this particular bed, I have the petunias, I have some basil, quite a few eggplants, and kale. So that's what's in this bed. The middle bed has lemon balm, bunching onions, snapdragons, sweet potatoes, bitter melon, and peppers. And then the end bed was the first one that we planted, and it's the most tired bed right now. It has had food in it since March. I put the Grow It Now cones over the top of the certain even cold weather plants to give them a head start because it's very cold in our little zone 4 in March. They survived and they have been going a very long time. So that bed is looking a little more yellow, a little more beat up, only because the longevity. The trick to these beds is harvest every day. Once you start to have things in the beds, harvest them every single day because it leaves room for everything else to be at its peak. If we had eaten the oldest kale that we started more aggressively, then there would have been more room for other things to come on, and then the youngest things would have thrived and the bed would have rejuvenated itself over time instead of still now having old things in it that are kind of tired. So that end bed has red Russian kale, lacinato kale, sorrel. It had herbs in it originally like cilantro that have now been pulled out. So I have to say these are my favorite beds, not because of quality, but because of size. All the beds that I tried in my boss's garden this year are great. They're good quality. I really like them. The reason the big Vego beds are my favorite is because they're so good at growing food and making it easy. I can reach in. I don't have to bend over. I don't have to do as much maintenance on them because they hold more water. And this year, once I buy some for my own property, I would like to take them and make a long line with them instead of having 3 separate beds. I want to make one long bed because they also have the inside reinforcements that keep the sides from bowing out. When I first put that end bed together, I allowed some cardboard to go over the supports in the middle. And what happened was that as the bed sank, that pulled on one of the supports and created a buckle in the side. So make sure that you leave, that when you're filling the bed, you're not having something that has a lot of tensile strength go perpendicular to the supports. You want to make sure that everything that goes in is parallel to the supports, not perpendicular. You don't want it to go like this over the support. You want it to lay next to the support so that it can't catch on the support and drag it down as the bed sinks. In the spring, I put cover cloths over the top of these beds and anchored them with 2x4s. This fall, what I would like to do is put them inside a hoop house, and I think they would do really, really well in a greenhouse. Now, the finishing on these beds means that it doesn't cook the bed. If you had unfinished metal here, the heat from the sun could cook your beds. It could superheat things. But there's a special coating on this so that that doesn't happen. There's a rubber ribbon that they put along the top so you're not cutting yourself on the metal, because that could also be possible. And we haven't had any injury on these. We've had kids and animals around them. And for chickens and ducks, these are the ideal type of bed. If your chicken wings are unclipped, they might still hop up and try to get into your beds. So I would say just, you know, clip your chicken wings. But for livestock, for small livestock, these are my favorite height and size. They solve a problem that I've been working on for a lot of years with my own hotbeds. And I am willing to spend my own money in getting more of these. And that's kind of my clicker of, do I feel like I could really recommend this? Only if I would spend my own money on it. So I think I'll try, maybe what I need to do is show you the whole garden.